This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. Glad to have you along as we get set up to discuss just a couple things going on across Edmonton Oilers land. Today, obviously, we got some new numbers, we got some comparables, we got some things to talk about. But before we get too deep into things, friends, forgot to do this last night. If you're new to the channel, I want you to consider hitting that subscribe button. Hey, stick around. Lots of Oilers news to come this summer, I guarantee that, because we still haven't signed Evan Bouchard. And with that, we begin right off the top. Evan Bouchard, comparables, stuff like that. Things have been rolling the past couple days in terms of defenseman signing contract, going back a couple at least till Bowen Byram signed his deal, Keandre Miller signing his deal, and it all but certain looking like Evan Bouchard will settle somewhere between 3.8 to 4.0 for 2 years. That appears to be where we're headed. Obviously, everybody's making those contract comparisons, everything like that. This is what you need to know. This is what we could do. This is what the Oilers might look like after signing Mr. Evan Bouchard. So lots of talk on that front today, and obviously it'll continue until Evan Bouchard is signed to a deal. He doesn't have arbitration rights, so that's kind of where the Oilers have the ability to get what they want out of the deal, but at the same rate too, Bouchard's camp's got the RFA offer sheet threat, so keep that in mind. Moving on, I saw last night, I believe it was Jonathan Willis of The Athletic mentioning out Tomas Nosek as a potential target for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, we talked about this the other day, didn't we? Because, well, yeah, you know what? We talked about him because for the Oilers, they're looking for that fourth line center. Now, I had an error in the video prior talking about Jonathan Toews, calling him a right-hand shot. Well, the reason I haven't spoken yet about Tomas Nosek is because he's a left-hand shot, but I did see something that I didn't know about Tomas Nosek quite yet, and that's the fact that he's a 6'3", 205-pound player. So, pardon me, 6'3", yeah, I like that kind of number on my fourth line, right? We like those big guys down there on the fourth line. So that's where we're going to talk just briefly about Tomas Nosek. Obviously, his career in the NHL. We don't want his postseason stats. How do I get off that, friends? How do I get off his postseason stats? I'm not sure. But, no, those are his career stats. Never mind. Pardon me. I'm just not looking at things correctly. 66 games this past year for Tomas Nosek with 7 goals, 11 assists, and 18 points. So that is about what you would expect your fourth line centerman on this Edmonton Oilers team to chip in, right? Especially if he's the left-hand shot. You're not expecting much out of him, and you're pretty much signing him for $775 anyway. So that's where in 18 points in 66 games, if he's a guy capable of putting up 20 points, never has in his career before, but if he's capable of putting up 20 points in 75 games, we're going to take him all day. Never put up double-digit goals, so again, not that attractive there either when you're looking for depth scoring. But I think for a guy that's been around the league since 15, 16, a guy that the Oilers definitely have time for, and we talked about it a little yesterday because of Kurt Levin's article. Now we're talking about it because of Jonathan Willis. I assume this is the kind of video topic we will talk about quite a bit down the stretch here over the next few weeks. But Tomas Nosek, a guy who literally produces 0.25, so a point every 4 games. Well, on your fourth line, I guess, well, it can be worse, and we know it can be worse, so we're not going to worry about it too much. Now we go over to Twitter, friends, where we go quickly to the Edmonton Oilers, who have announced today some new Oilers numbers. We already knew quite a few of these. I think that was quite spoiled a couple weeks ago, according to the NHL website, but you start off with Connor Brown, who will wear number 28 for the Edmonton Oilers. No surprise there. Really, the only surprise we saw in terms of digits dropping for the Oilers is Matthias Janmark has claimed the vacant number 13 that was left open by Jesse Puljujarvi departing to Carolina. So, look at that hot change there for Mr. Matthias Janmark. Drake Caggiula is number 8 next season if he plays, and Lane Peterson is number 19 should he play. So he takes the departed Devon Shores jersey number. So that's what you need to know in terms of those numbers there. And realistically now too, right? The contract comparables for Evan Bouchard, that's something we will continue to monitor for the next little bit. Obviously, I think I had budgeted $3.5 million for Evan Bouchard, and now we're talking somewhere north of 3.8. It is where the market's set again, right? Similar to that Darnell Nurse situation. You wait to sign the contract. The market sets itself, and that's what's happened here for the Edmonton Oilers. Is the market is set at 3.8 or above for Evan Bouchard. He's got some very good numbers, and I think he's got some bargaining power because of the power play he's walking onto and going to be such a key piece, an asset to the league's #1 power play, and obviously very great performance in the playoffs. So he's got some bargaining power. Whether you like the guy or not because of his defensive ability, I don't really care. The market for him is going to go sky high here in the next 2 years, and the fact that we're going to be able to retain his services until then is going to be absolutely pivotal. All right, that's Evan Bouchard. Just a quick thought on kind of the other situations working out is just as an update on the fourth line center role. We talked about Tomas Nosek. I think with Jonathan Toews off the market, I think with the situation with Evan Bouchard, I think with us still not having signed Raphael Lavoie, still not signed because McLeod's going to arbitration, I think there's a lot that the Oilers might actually wait till camp on this one. It's just a hunch, right? It's kind of one of those things. It's lining up. The Oilers might wait to camp, see who's left there, whether it be a PTO job for 2 guys or whether it be sign a guy late in camp. There might be an opening there to wait until sometime in mid-September to get that fourth line center role figured out. I think of note, I just want to bring up quickly a guy that I believe is trying to make a comeback as well, just to kind of get out ahead of something. I saw Darren Dreger tweet out on Peter Holland a couple of weeks ago, and this is something I've been meaning to mention for a little bit here, but Peter Holland, who last appeared in Russia playing for one of the teams over there, a guy who has been around the NHL dating back to early 2010s, right? The 2011-2012 season with the Anaheim Ducks, a guy who never really grabbed a big grasp in the NHL, right? A total of 85 points in 266 games, but a guy who is a centerman, left-hand shot. So if we're considering a guy like Tomas Nosek, a guy like Jonathan Toews, then you wouldn't figure that 32-year-old Peter Holland, born in Toronto, Ontario, would at 6'2", 201, not be a guy, if he's serious about taking a PTO, a guy that you wouldn't be surprised to see the Oilers maybe offer up a contract to a PTO contract, that is PTO, just to say, hey, what do you have for us? And try and bring him in. His best season dating back in his NHL career is his 27-point campaign in 2015-16 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, at 775, a guy that you could potentially bury in the minors and just kind of let him go to wherever he needs to go. So, like I said, this is going to be something that I have a hunch, if the contracts drag out for Bouchard, McLeod, and Raphael Lavoie, we're going to see the Oilers kind of take care of the fourth line center role near close to camp. So friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for being aboard this afternoon. Like I said, a little quicker hits edition, trying to go through the things bang bang and then get you a little bit more information at the end. So there you go. That's what you need to know. I am up on out of here.